Podcast Talk. Learn English naturally.
Talk about your day in English.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Podcast Hub. I'm John.
And I'm Daniela. Welcome to today's episode, which is all about one of the most common conversations you'll have in English.
Today, we're focusing on how to talk about your day, what happened, what you did, how you felt, and how to keep the conversation flowing naturally.
This is such a fundamental skill because how was your day is probably the most frequently asked question in daily life, whether it's from family, friends, colleagues, or your partner.
And yet, many English learners struggle with this. They know the vocabulary, but they don't know how to make it sound natural and engaging.
So today we'll teach you phrases, storytelling techniques, conversation strategies, and most importantly, how to sound like a native speaker when describing your day.
But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, turn on notifications, and comment below. Let's start with the question itself. What are the different ways people ask about your day?
The most common is, how was your day? But you'll also hear, how's your day going, if it's still happening? What did you do today? How are things? Or what's new?
More casually, you might hear, how was work? How'd it go today? Or just, what's up? Or how are you?
And the key is that how are you isn't always just a greeting. Sometimes people actually want to know how your day was.
Context matters. If it's a quick passing greeting, good, thanks, is fine. But if you're sitting down with someone, they probably want more detail.
So let's talk about how to answer, how was your day? In different ways, depending on how detailed you want to be.
The simplest response is one word. Good, fine, okay, great, busy, tiring, or productive.
But that kills the conversation. If someone asks about your day, they're opening the door to conversation. Give them something to work with.
Right. A better approach is to give a brief evaluation plus one detail. It was good. I finally finished that project I've been working on.
Or, pretty busy. I had back-to-back meetings all morning. Or, kind of frustrating, to be honest. My computer crashed and I lost some work.
See how that gives the other person something to respond to? They can ask about the project, the meetings, or the computer problem.
Now, let's talk about the structure of talking about your day. How do you organize your thoughts?
Most people organize chronologically, starting with the morning and moving through the day. This morning, I woke up early and went for a run. Then I had breakfast and headed to work.
Or you can organize by highlights, the most interesting or important things that happened. The highlight of my day was definitely lunch with my old college friend.
You can also start with an overall impression, then give details. It was a really productive day. I crossed off everything on my to-do list, and I even had time to start planning next week's project.
Let's talk about verb tenses. When you're talking about your completed day, what tense do you use?
Primarily past simple. I went to the gym, I had a meeting, I worked on a report, I grabbed lunch with a colleague.
But you might also use present perfect for things that have present relevance. I've been working on this project all day, or I've had such a busy day.
And if you're talking about your day as it's happening, you might use present continuous. I'm having a pretty quiet day, or I'm working from home today.
Now, let's go through time markers and transition words that help you tell your story smoothly.
For sequencing events, first, then, after that, next, later, eventually, finally.
For time of the day, this morning, around lunchtime, in the afternoon, this evening, earlier today, a few hours ago.
For describing duration, all morning, for a couple hours, the whole afternoon, most of the day, all day long.
And for adding information, also, plus, on top of that, not to mention, oh, and...
Let's practice using these. Daniela, tell me about your morning using time markers.
Sure. This morning, I woke up around 7. First, I made coffee and checked my emails. Then I had a quick breakfast, just yogurt and fruit. After that, I went for a 30-minute walk around the neighborhood. Around 9, I logged onto my computer and started working. I had a video call at 10, and then I worked on some writing projects for the rest of the morning.
Perfect! Notice how those time markers made it easy to follow the sequence of events?
Exactly. Without them, it would sound choppy and confusing.
Now let's talk about adding details that make your story interesting.
Don't just list facts, add color and emotion. Instead of I had lunch, say I grabbed a delicious Thai curry for lunch from that new place downtown.
Instead of I had a meeting, say I had a really productive meeting where we finally solved the problem we'd been stuck on for weeks.
Details make your story come alive and give the listener something to connect with or ask about.
Now let's discuss vocabulary for describing different types of days. What if your day was good?
You might say it was great, fantastic, wonderful, productive, relaxing, enjoyable, fun, exciting, or successful.
I had a really productive day. I got so much done. Or it was a wonderful day. Everything just went smoothly.
What about a bad day?
It might be rough, tough, challenging, frustrating, stressful, exhausting, draining, or disappointing.
I had a rough day. Nothing seemed to go right. Or it was pretty stressful with all the tight deadlines.
What about neutral or mixed days?
It was okay, pretty normal, nothing special, the usual, had its ups and downs, mixed or so-so.
It was a pretty normal day, nothing too exciting. Or it had its ups and downs, but overall not bad.
Now let's talk about describing specific activities. Let's start with work-related vocabulary.
You might attend meetings, work on projects, respond to emails, make phone calls, give presentations, meet deadlines, or collaborate with colleagues.
More casually, you might catch up on emails, sit in on a meeting, touch base with your team, put together a report, or hammer out the details.
Touch base means to make contact or check in. I need to touch base with my manager about this project.
Hammer out means to work through something until it's finalized. We hammered out the contract details.
What about household and personal activities?
You might do laundry, clean the house, run errands, go grocery shopping, cook dinner, work out, walk the dog, or pick up the kids.
You could tidy up the living room, throw in a load of laundry, grab a few things from the store, or whip up dinner.
Whip up is a great casual phrase meaning to make something quickly. I whipped up some pasta for dinner.
Now let's discuss how to talk about emotions and feelings throughout your day.
You can say how you felt at different points. I woke up feeling refreshed. I felt stressed during the meeting. I was relieved when I finally finished. I felt frustrated when...
Or describe your energy level. I was energized, I felt drained, I was exhausted by the end of the day. I got a second wind in the afternoon.
Second wind is an idiom meaning a burst of energy after feeling tired. I was exhausted at 3 p.m., but I got a second wind and finished strong.
Now let's talk about dealing with problems or challenges in your day.
You might say I ran into a problem, I hit a snag, something came up, I dealt with an issue, or I had to troubleshoot.
Hit a snag means encountered an unexpected difficulty. We hit a snag with the software, but I managed to fix it.
You can describe how you handled it. I figured it out, I worked through it, I managed to solve it, I got it sorted out.
Sorted out is British English for resolved or fixed. I sorted out the scheduling conflict.
Now let's do a role play. I'll ask about your day, and you give a natural, detailed response. Ready?
Ready.
Hey, Daniela, how was your day?
Oh, it was pretty good, actually. A bit busy, but in a good way. This morning, I had a dentist appointment, nothing major, just a cleaning, and then I went to work. I had a team meeting where we brainstormed ideas for our next campaign, which was really creative and fun. We came up with some great concepts. Then this afternoon, I worked on updating our website content. Around 4 o'clock, I took a coffee break and caught up with a coworker I haven't talked to in a while, which was nice. Now I'm finally home and just relaxing.
That sounds like a solid day. How'd the brainstorming go?
Really well. We were all on the same page and the ideas were just flowing. I love when meetings are actually productive like that instead of just wasting time.
Perfect example. Notice how Daniela gave a detailed overview, mentioned specific activities, included feelings and evaluations, and left openings for follow-up questions?
Right. I didn't just say, it was good. I painted a picture of my day. Now your turn, John. Tell me about your day.
All right, so my day was a bit of a mixed bag. Started off well. I woke up early and got in a good workout, which always puts me in a good mood. Then I had breakfast and dove into work. The morning was super productive. I knocked out a bunch of tasks I'd been putting off. But then around lunch, my internet went out, which was really frustrating because I had a virtual meeting scheduled. I ended up having to use my phone as a hotspot and the connection was spotty. After that finally got resolved, the afternoon was pretty smooth. I finished up a report I've been working on, organized my files for next week, and called it a day.
Nice, detailed response. And I like how you described it as a mixed bag. That's a great idiom.
Mixed bag means a combination of good and bad, very useful for describing days that weren't all good or all bad.
Now let's talk about asking follow-up questions when someone tells you about their day.
This is crucial for keeping the conversation going. If someone mentions something specific, ask about it.
If they say, I had lunch with an old friend, you can ask, oh, how are they doing? Or where did you go? Or how long has it been since you saw them?
If they mention a work project, ask, how's that project going? Or when's the deadline? Or what's it about?
Open-ended questions work best. Instead of, did you like it? Which gets a yes-no answer, ask, what did you think? Or how did that go?
Now let's discuss common phrases for highlighting the best or worst part of your day.
You might say, the best part of my day was, or the highlight was, or what really made my day was, or the coolest thing that happened was.
That really made my day means something particularly nice or positive happened. A customer sent me a thank you note, and that really made my day.
For the worst part, you might say, the worst part was, or the low point was, or what really bothered me was, or the frustrating thing was.
You can also use on the bright side to pivot from negative to positive. The meeting ran long, but on the bright side, we made a lot of progress.
Now let's talk about pace and energy in your storytelling. How do you keep it engaging?
Vary your sentence length. Don't make every sentence the same structure. Mix short, punchy sentences with longer, descriptive ones.
Use your voice to add emphasis. And then, you won't believe this, my boss actually complimented my work in front of the whole team.
Include small moments of humor or personality. I attempted to make a healthy smoothie this morning. Let's just say it didn't turn out as Pinterest-worthy as I'd hoped.
And don't be afraid to editorialize. Add your opinions and reactions. Which was annoying, which was hilarious, which made no sense.
Now let's discuss brevity. Sometimes you need to keep it short. How do you give a condensed version?
Hit the highlights. Not much, pretty quiet day. Worked on some reports, had lunch with Sarah, came home and relaxed.
Or give a theme. Busy. I was running around all day. Or lazy Sunday. I basically did nothing and it was perfect.
You can always add, how about you, to turn the conversation back to them if you don't want to talk much about your own day.
Now let's talk about vocabulary for unexpected events or surprises.
You might say, you'll never guess what happened, or the craziest thing happened, or I had an interesting surprise, or something unexpected came up.
Out of the blue means completely unexpected. Out of the blue, my old college roommate called me today.
Believe it or not is good for introducing surprising information. Believe it or not, I ran into my elementary school teacher at the grocery store.
Now let's discuss how to talk about routine versus non-routine days.
For routine days, you might say, just the usual, same old, nothing out of the ordinary, pretty standard, or just a regular Monday.
Same old is very common and means your day was completely typical with nothing new or different.
For non-routine days, you can say, it was quite different from usual. I had a change of pace. Something unusual happened, or it wasn't a typical day.
This practice describing a routine day. Daniela, tell me about a typical workday.
Sure. A typical workday for me is pretty straightforward. I wake up around 7, have coffee and breakfast, and start work by 9. Usually, I'll have a meeting or two in the morning, then I spend the afternoon focused on my projects, writing, editing, that kind of thing. I take a break for lunch around noon, usually something quick I make at home since I work remotely. Late afternoon, I might have more meetings or check-ins with my team. I wrap up around 5:30 or 6, make dinner, and then I'm free to relax, read, or watch something. Pretty predictable, but I like the routine.
Good. Now describe an unusual day.
Okay, so yesterday was definitely not typical. I woke up to find I had no power. A tree fell on power lines during the night. So my whole morning routine was thrown off. I ended up going to a cafe to work since I couldn't do anything at home. While I was there, I ran into an old friend I hadn't seen in years, and we ended up chatting for an hour. That made me late for a virtual meeting, which I had to join from my phone in my car. The power came back on around 2 p.m., so I finally got home and tried to catch up on work. It was chaotic, but kind of exciting in its own way.
Excellent storytelling. You made it vivid and engaging with specific details and your reactions.
Now let's talk about using dialogue in your story. This makes it more dynamic.
Instead of, my boss told me I did a good job, you can say, my boss came up to me and said, great work on that presentation. I was so surprised.
Or, I called my mom and she asked, how's the new job going? And I told her, it's been amazing so far.
Dialogue brings the story to life and makes the listener feel like they're there with you.
Now let's discuss how to wrap up talking about your day. You don't want to just trail off.
You can end with a summary. So yeah, it was a busy but good day. Or, that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy.
Or with your current state. And now I'm just exhausted and ready for bed. Or now I'm looking forward to a relaxing evening.
Or turn it back to them. How about you? How was your day? Or, anyway, enough about me. What did you do today?
Now let's talk about cultural notes. In English-speaking cultures, especially American culture, how much detail is expected?
It varies by relationship. With close friends and family, people often share quite a bit of detail. With acquaintances or colleagues, shorter responses are more common.
And it's a reciprocal conversation. If someone gives you a detailed response, they probably expect you to share some detail back.
But if someone asks, how was your day? While walking past you in the hallway, they're probably just being polite, not seeking a long conversation.
Read the context. Are they sitting down with you over coffee or are they in a rush?
Now let's discuss some advanced techniques. One is using callbacks, referencing things you mentioned earlier.
Remember that project I told you about last week? Well, today we finally finished it. This shows continuity and that you remember previous conversations.
Another technique is contrasting with other days. Today was so much better than yesterday. Or, unlike Monday, today was actually pretty calm.
Now let's talk about common mistakes English learners make when talking about their day.
One mistake is being too vague. I did stuff, or things happened, doesn't give the listener anything to work with.
Another is listing activities without any evaluation or emotion.
I woke up, I ate breakfast, I went to work, I came home. That's boring.
Too much detail about uninteresting things is also a problem. You don't need to describe every single email you answered.
And using only past simple can sound monotonous. Mix in other tenses, descriptive language, and varied sentence structures.
Now let's create a model response that incorporates everything we've discussed. I'll describe a complete day using all these techniques.
Great, go ahead. So, how was my day? Well, it was actually one of those days that had a bit of everything. This morning started off rough. I woke up late because I forgot to set my alarm. I was rushing around trying to get ready, and of course, I spilled coffee on my shirt, so I had to change. Not the best start. But once I got to work, things turned around. I had a really productive meeting with my team where we finally figured out the solution to this problem we've been stuck on for weeks. That felt great. The afternoon was pretty standard, answering emails, working on reports, the usual stuff. But then around 4 p.m., something unexpected happened. My manager called me into her office, and I thought, uh-oh, what did I do? But actually, she wanted to tell me I'm getting a promotion. I was completely shocked and thrilled. So I called my partner right away to share the good news, and we decided to celebrate with dinner at our favorite restaurant tonight. So yeah, despite the rough start, it turned into probably one of my best days at this job. How about you? Anything exciting happened today?
That was perfect. You used time markers, varied your pace, included emotions, had a narrative arc with beginning, middle, and end, included dialogue, and finished by turning it back to me.
And notice I didn't describe every single thing, just the highlights and the things that mattered.
Now let's practice one more scenario. How would you describe a really boring, uneventful day?
That's a good challenge. Even boring days can be described in an interesting way. Want to try it?
Sure. Honestly, today was pretty uneventful. I worked from home, which means I basically stayed in my pajamas all day. One of the perks, right? I had a few emails to respond to, but nothing urgent. Mostly, I just worked on this one long, tedious report that I've been chipping away at all week. I took a break for lunch, made a sandwich, watched some YouTube videos. The most exciting thing that happened was probably when my cat knocked over a plant and I had to clean up the dirt. Riveting stuff. By the end of the day, I realized I'd barely left my chair. So, yeah, not exactly a thrilling day, but sometimes those quiet, boring days are kind of nice, you know? No stress, no drama, just getting stuff done.
See? Even a boring day can be described in an interesting way. You used humor and self-awareness to make it engaging.
Right. It's not always what happened, it's how you tell it.
Now let's give some final practical tips for our listeners.
Tip 1. Practice telling your day out loud, even to yourself. This builds fluency.
Tip 2, keep a daily journal in English. Writing about your day helps you think through how to describe it.
Tip 3. Listen to how native speakers talk about their days in movies, TV shows, and podcasts. Notice the phrases they use.
Tip 4, don't worry about perfection. It's okay if you forget a word or make a grammar mistake. The point is communication.
Tip 5. Be genuinely interested when others tell you about their day. Ask questions, react, engage. Conversation is a two-way street.
Tip 6, start small. If you're not comfortable with long stories yet, just share one highlight from your day and build from there.
And remember, talking about your day is practice. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
It's one of the best ways to improve your conversational English because it's practical, it's relevant to your life, and you do it every day.
Before we finish, let's create a cheat sheet of useful phrases for talking about your day. Perfect. Those are all super useful phrases that our listeners can start using right away.
Thank you all so much for joining us on English Podcast Hub today. We hope this episode has given you the tools and confidence to talk about your day in natural, fluent English.
Remember, every day is an opportunity to practice. Even if nothing exciting happened, you can still practice describing it.
If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with other English learners.
And we'd love to hear from you. Tell us about your day in the comments. In English, of course.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep sharing, and keep improving your English.
Have a great day, everyone.